So today looks like we have a special show. So give us a little bit of background. Yes, who you are.
Okay.
And your major and your schooling. You graduate from high school in Germany.
Alright.
How you decide to out the country
Okay.
and those journey.
Okay.
It
So
sounds
from the
good.
beginning.
From the beginning, yeah. Is it sounds good? Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I graduated from high school when I was 18. That's a typical age in Germany to graduate from high school. We had to choose 3 majors what we graduated in high school with, and for me that was arts, biology, and French. So my second language is French. And since I never really spoke English, I decided to go on a learning travel education. It's called like work and travel, but it wasn't really work and travel, it was more like travel and no work. And I decided to do that in California. So I started in San Diego, worked my way up in a van to Vancouver for half a year, and I was like just traveling the West Coast up and down and just got to know the English language through that. I also was an au pair, like a nanny in New York City for half a year, so I learned English from a 4-year-old, so excuse some expressions of mine. Like poopy head or whatever, that was like the first words I learned. Then I wanted to become a psychologist since I was 12 or 13 years old. So after graduating high school, I did something, it's called a voluntary social year in Germany. It's more like an internship, but it's not paid. So you work for a year full time, and you get just experience from shadowing psychologists, social workers, everyone. And it was in a social group for children aged 6 to 14 who got there by court order, and it was the last instance before they got taken out of the family. So if the group setting didn't work, they were sent to host families, and or just the facilities where little children get to if the family's not there anymore. Then after my English learning holiday, how I like to call it, I decided to get my undergrad, my bachelor's in English, because I felt like, well, now that I speak a little bit of English, why not study in English? So I went to Hungary, to one of the most nominated schools in Hungary, and I got my degree in 2020. And I wanted to go to the Netherlands after that to get my master's, but somehow I ended up in America. Don't ask me why, I really don't know. I applied, I got in, so now I'm here. I'm still finishing up my master's degree in forensic psychology with Dr. Law. And the only thing that's missing is my thesis, so thank you for helping. I don't know if you probably know that by now. So I'm looking into the differences of knowledge and attitudes that Americans have and non-Americans to mental health and psychopathy. I was always really intrigued by psychopath. I mean, I think all of you know Joker and Ted Bundy and whoever else is there. So I always wanted to study them. And that's how I got here. And now I'm in the process of applying for a PhD. Any questions? That was a lot of information, sorry. Yeah.
Where in Germany are you from?
Frankfurt.
Oh.
Yeah. We call it Manhattan too because it's like a resemblance of the skyline to Manhattan. It's not, but people really like to call it Manhattan. Any other questions?
So what's the big difference? Like even the classroom setting
Yeah.
in different countries.
So it depends on what you're studying. If you're going into the business direction, it can be that you're in a class with 200 different students and you literally stand outside just signing your little signature somewhere that you have attended, but you actually don't know anything about what the teacher or the professor said in the front. If you study psychology, you really, really have to be good. So your GPA has to be above a 4.0. So yeah. It's really hard to get in.
You mean in Germany or Hungary?
Both.
Both?
Hungary was a private school, so it wasn't really only about the GPA, but in Germany everything is about the GPA.
Yeah.
And education is free in Germany, if you want to go.
Where do you plan on staying after you graduate?
That's a really good question. I was just talking to a friend who got pregnant, and she was like, yeah, my insurance is only covering 2 ultrasounds. And I was like, oh well, so if you get a baby in America, it's pretty expensive to get a baby. So in Germany, it's also free. You have health insurance, you just present your little card, and everything is done. So I'm really torn between staying here and going back. Yeah.
You're a good person to ask. How easy is it for an American student to do grad school in Europe?
That's a really good question. So I am not sure because I only know the European population to go into a school. You have to pay an international fee, but it's, I don't know, it's like 200 or 300 a semester, so it's really, really cheap compared to the US. And the schools, like, I just found out if you want to get a PhD in Europe, you can apply anywhere in the world and you can just take your PhD or whatever doctor you want to do. If you get a PhD in the US, it's only for the US. So that sucks a little bit, but yeah. I don't know if it helps if you ever want to get a PhD or not. The PhDs in America are really focused on practical experience at work, so you gain up to 2,000 plus hours of internship and everything. Germany's only research based. So you have a doctoral mother or doctoral father, how we call it, that is supervising the PhD, but it's only research, so it's only your dissertation. No classes, no nothing. That's why I want to do it here, because I am liking of the practical experience.
Yeah, tell them your next plan. Remember, you want to study in different country again?
Sorry?
About your PhD plan. You say you want to study in
No, I want to
Vienna?
study it here, so I'm in the process of applying.
Yeah.
I'm looking into California and Florida right now to start over there. And then I don't really know what I want to do, if I want to stay here, if I want to go back, if I want to go to Hungary, if I want to go to Italy, I don't know. Australia, everything's open.
Uh-huh. But I know before you apply for American school, you think you want to study in Vienna.
Vienna, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Tell them
also
about
applying
the
in
dream.
Vienna, it's in Austria, but it's also research based. Yeah, and it's a private school, so private schools differ from the normal schools, and you have to pay the private schools.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it looks better on the resume. Just yeah.
Like, how food in Germany?
Sorry?
How's the food in Germany?
The food?
Oh, the food.
Oh, the food. It's very different from here. Like everything, America has a sugar, no offense. Like you eat bread, it's sweet. You eat, I don't know, pasta, it's sweet. You put sugar in your tomato sauce. I don't know why you do that. Apparently you do that. So in Germany, everything is not as sweet, and we are more into the vegetables and fruits, but also meat. We love meat. So yeah.
Yeah, something similar. Like, was it hard to like transition when you first came to America?
A lot. Like when I first came to America, I was 20, so I was homesick a lot because it's a complete different country. You leave your family for the first time. I know some of you can maybe relate, like moving to a different state, it's hard if you don't know anyone, if you don't even know the language. But now it's like my second home and I don't even feel the distance between the both countries, even though the whole ocean is between it. So yeah, if you know the language, you're good. And if not, you can still point at stuff you want. Yeah.
I had a class this morning talking about how different like hand signals that we do or different things are different. Like, did you have that type of experience as well?
Not really. I mean, the middle finger is the middle finger. The thumbs is like, okay, you're good. So I'm not using many signs. I'm talking with my hands, but I'm not using many signs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just know like this in Italy is like really popular, but if you do it in another country, it's like, asshole, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we tell you are Germany? How do people tell, the people from Germany, what kind of, is any way people can tell? If you don't tell people you're from Germany.
Yeah, normally I get, I'm from Sweden, because of my accent, I don't know, and my blonde hair, because people in Sweden are normally blonde and tall. But anytime I talk to someone, they're like, oh my God, you have an accent, where are you from? Like, I'm from America, what are you talking about? So I'm from Germany, and then they're like, oh yeah, I could tell. Like, oh really? Or often I get, oh yeah, I have family in Germany, like my ancestors are from Germany. I'm like, oh really, can you talk German? Like, no. So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Has COVID like affected you going back home and everything?
Yeah, a lot.
Hurt a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I visited home in summer, during my summer semester for 2 weeks, because I had to get my insurance right and everything. But I wasn't really home for over a year because of COVID, and then I went home over Christmas break now. And going back, I was the only one with like a German passport. Everyone else had American passports. And everyone was like, what do you want in the US? Like, well, I want to study. Okay, why are you late? Because I arrived Tuesday and Monday classes start. So I was like, well, I don't know. I just took my time, I guess. And I'm like, well, what do you want here? So it's hard to get into America.
Yeah.
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 Any other questions about Germany, Europe, America? Learning a different language? It's
Yeah.
hard.
What in the class? Okay, so you say it's a 200, so a big group. That's a general practice. All the class that big.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, the undergrad I did in Hungary, it was a class size of 25, and we ended up graduating with 10 people.
10 people?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because everyone, it was an international class, so either they weren't good enough in speaking English. Like me, my first semester, I struggled so much with all the terminology and everything that I didn't even know of. But I feel like even in my language, I had to learn the terminology anyways. So if I learned it in German or English, I just preferred English.
What's the psychology different there and here?
So I feel like here we only learn about America and what you need for America. But for my undergrad, I learned super much and different and many approaches. For example, here we learned a lot about Freud.
Yeah.
He's my favorite, so that was not that bad. But where I studied in Hungary, I was like next to Freud. So Freud is from Vienna. I don't know if you had that in class already. So he's from Vienna, and I was 3 hours from Vienna. So I could visit and see, oh yeah, he grew up there and he went there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you can learn from really live there.
Correct, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thing I always get is, do you like beer? Like, yes, I like beer. Thank you for asking. So I really get confronted with a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
But it's the same when I'm in Germany, for example, and they're like, oh my God, how is America? They're all fat. It's like the stereotype of that. So yeah. Did I really only eat McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny, and
So-
I love
yeah.
getting all the stereotypes because it really opens up your mind to different kinds of cultural
Yeah.
differences.
Tell them how your mother say about you.
My mom.
Yeah. After.
So I was always like a mommy child. I'm an only child. I don't know if you could tell. So I was always a mommy child. I was always clinging to my mommy, to my mom's leg when I was in kindergarten. I didn't want to let go of her. And me having the chance to go overseas and do something different, it developed me in a different way. So I got a lot of experiences from different cultures and not only the one place I was staying in. So my mom, we had a really nice conversation when I went back and around Christmas. She was like, well, now when I talk to you, I don't see my little baby anymore. Like, what happened to you? Like, Mom, I'm old, I know, but I age too. So there was a good conversation to see even my mom knows I'm growing up. And she has a hard time letting go. I guess all parents have a hard time letting go.
Is there anything you learn from this culture make them feel upset?
From the American ones?
Yeah. They kind of feel you act in different way or something.
I don't want to offend anyone here, Dr. Law.
Ah.
No, I feel like people in America, it's not necessarily negative or positive, but no one travels. Like, I see people from, like, being from Ohio, they're like, why would I go to another state or another country? Because I have my sea, I have my forest, I have my lakes. What's the need of traveling? And I see that point. I see that point. You have everything that you need in the US. But it's also good to explore different countries and different cultures, because everyone has like a different point of view on life. And especially if you want to become a psychologist, it's pretty relevant if you go somewhere else and you can put yourself into the other person's shoes. Yeah.
Was there any laws like in the United States that when you came here, like you did something that say was okay in Germany, but it's not okay here? Did you ever have problems with that?
Drinking. Like we're allowed to drink beer, wine at the age of 16 and hard liquor at the age of 18. So when I came here and I had friends that were like 20 and they were drinking, that was a huge no-go, and I was like, why? So yeah. But besides that, I had a class during summer. It was a law class, and I had absolutely no idea about American law. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's that way in Ohio. And then they were like, but it's different in Florida. Oh, okay, interesting. So even every little state has different laws and regulations. I'm like, oh geez. So that was a lot to learn. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
So there's like a German American festival up in like Cleveland, I
Oh,
think.
Toledo.
Toledo.
Oktoberfest.
Is that like pretty accurate or?
No. Like I've been to German restaurants here, or they're called German restaurants. The beer is pretty, they do a good job with the beer if you really got the German beer. Like if you go to the pub, if you're over 21, if you go to the pub, they have the Bitburger beer. I don't know if you ever tasted it. It's pretty dark and not watered down, as I like to call the American beer. I'm sorry about that. You have nice beer here, no offense. But like the food is different. It's a lot different. Like I was in Miami last year and we went to a German restaurant and I ordered the typical German food. It was completely messed up. It was good, but not what I expected. But it's the same for when you go to Europe and you want American food, so that's totally messed up. So yeah. I guess you get that everywhere. Even the McDonald's is different. Like we have
Yeah, that's what I
wraps
want
and-
to ask. How different the
Yeah, we
fast
have
food
wraps and vegetable foods and like veggie nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you consider American food in Germany?
Fast food, probably. Yeah, we have fast food too, so yeah. It's just different. So seeing McDonald's, it's the best example. McDonald's in America compared to McDonald's in Germany, you get a lot of food for, I don't know, $5, and we pay $15 for less amount of food from McDonald's. So yeah.
So everybody I know from Europe has one or the other completely opposite opinion. Do you think Americans are way nicer than people from Europe or way ruder? I think they're way more friendly or way more
It depends
rude.
where you are. I feel like in Ohio, everyone's more friendly towards me.
Yeah.
But when I was in New York City, everyone's like, eh.
Yeah.
No, I don't need help. I'm sorry, I need help. They're like, okay, ask someone else. I guess. So it depends where you are and what people you encounter.
How about holiday? Is the same holiday as America? What holidays German celebrate?
Whew. We celebrate a lot less holidays than you celebrate in America. For example, the Martin Luther King Day that we just had, we don't celebrate that. Or, I mean, the typical holidays like Christmas, Easter, we all celebrate it. But the Christmas is really different. You celebrate it on the 25th in the morning, I think. Santa Claus is coming down the chimney and whatever. We don't have that. So we celebrate Christmas on the Christmas Eve, 24th. And we have like the child of Christ coming to give the present in the evening. And then 25th and 26th is just family time. So it's a lot different. But it's the same thought. So.
Okay. Just different way of celebration.
Yeah. And of course, like Unity Day is different for Germans because we have another unity than you have. I think yours is like 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is in October. Yeah.
So how many different languages do you speak?
Languages? German, French, English, a little bit of Italian, Spanish, Turkish. So. Like my high school was a language school, so I learned Italian and French in high school, and through traveling you just pick up languages. Yeah. And being an international student, you find the internationals, so you kind of connect with them and try to speak their language. France is a wonderful country. Paris is a nice city. If you stand in front of the Eiffel Tower, the rest is like, ugh. So yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to Tiffin, how small is where you live? Like, is Tiffin way bigger or smaller?
Like the city I'm coming from?
Or, yeah, where you grew up?
Okay, so the city where I was born is bigger than Tiffin, but my mom and me moved to the countryside. So we have like 2,000 people living in our little community. So it's between the vineyards, so I know in American terms it would be like a country girl, which I don't think I am. But yeah, everyone says, oh my God, you live in the country, you're such a country girl. So yeah, we have to take a bus to go to the cities. That's another point, like Tiffin doesn't have buses or a huge airport.
Yeah.
But we have like, Germany is like the size of 2 states, like 2 of your smaller states. So it takes 6 hours to like go through Germany or drive through Germany.
Yeah.
And here it's like you drive 6 hours, you're still in the same state.
So how easy to go to different country over there? Do you need
So-
a visa, and then how easy to travel in different?
If you are in the EU, the European Union, you don't have to have a visa when you're a citizen. So I can just go to Italy, I can just go to France, Spain, Portugal, whatever cities in the EU. But if I want to go to another country, I have to get a visa. But it's easier for EU students to get a visa for the countries that are close to the EU. Yeah. It's just hard for US. It's really hard to get a visa.
So how people from different country, do they be friendly with each other, or they say, oh, you're German, oh, you are they friendly to each other?
It depends. The best example, France. You go to France, you speak English, you try to speak a little French with them, and they're like, no, je ne parle pas your language. Like, they just answer in French. Whatever you do, they just answer in French. That's my opinion and my experience. So,
How about Germany people? Are they friendly, or?
it depends who you encounter. Like my mom just called me and was like, oh my God, like an American traveler just asked me the way to the rail station. And I was like, what the hell is a rail station? And I was like, Mom, it's where the trains are like going. Like the American person was there. She was like, how do I tell this person where the rail station is? Can I just hand over the phone? I was like, Mom, where are you? Like, I don't know where the way to the rail station is when you don't tell me where you are. And then I had to talk to the person. So some people are really nice, but the older generation is not really fluent in different languages. So if you ask anyone from the younger generation the directions all the time, they will answer you in English. But the older generation is more like, what the hell did you say? So, yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of like my question. Like, if we were to go to Germany, would most people speak English to us?
Yes.
As when you came here, nobody can really speak German.
Correct.
Like, we don't really.
Everyone
learn
has
languages
someone in
here.
Germany, or everyone has family in Germany, but no one speaks German.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Any other questions? Does anyone want to study in Germany now? Or yeah.
Oh, I was just raising my hand to say yes to your question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Very
Yes.
good. And
Do you want to say something? Like what?
I love you.
Tell us your favorite movie in Germany.
Oh, jeez. Okay, mein Lieblingsfilm ist Fast and the Furious, weil ich die Autos mag, weil ich die Atmosphäre dort mag. It's a hard language.
How are you?
Wie geht's?
Huh?
Wie geht's?
Wicked.
Wie geht's?
Wicked. 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 Try.
Wie geht's?
Yes. Try it. Yeah. No? No? Say together. Vegans.
Vegans.
So when you see people, usually how you say vegans?
Vegans. And then you say gut. That's more easy. It's like the good in English, like just with a U.
Good.
Gut.
Good. If you are going to say good, so pretty much from English.
Sorry.
Good is from English.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And then last question: how much American influence Germany?
How many people?
How much influence American culture influence Germany?
Good question.
Yeah.
Actually don't know.
Influence.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you smell American in Germany?
No.
No? Okay. So the culture is still very,
Yeah. It's different. We are more like Italian, like the Romaine Italian. And America is America, I guess. So I love America, don't get me wrong. That's why I'm here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like the look, like does he look like it look better here or there? Like buildings and stuff.
We have a lot more architecture that's really old. So I think what I always get told, America's history starts 4th of July 1776, I think.
Yep.
So we have architecture that's outdating that. So if you Google Italy and Rome, that's like our architecture. If you look into Venice in Italy, so it's nice. It's nice, a lot nicer. Yeah.
Is it more expensive over there?
Yeah, it is. So it depends where you live again. If you're from New York City, it's like the same. If you live in Ohio, it's affordable.
Do you think Americans are really weird about sports?
Yes. Like you have sports we don't have, and
Yeah.
we have sports you don't have. For example, American football.
Yeah.
We don't even watch it in Germany. Like we don't like that. We don't have it. We don't like that. We're really big into soccer
Yeah.
and handball. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yep.
It's like soccer, just like with hands.
Because there's a lot of German athletes that I love, but nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't have college sports and high school sports. We just have the clubs you go after high school or after college, like after you're done with classes, but we don't do it in school. So we don't have athletes.
Oh, yeah. Is it a lot more like? So I've heard a lot of foreign exchange students say that we're always such in a rush here to get places. Is it more like laid back in different countries?
In different countries, yes, but Germans are really punctual, so they're always on time. I kind of neglected that a little bit in America. Because when someone tells me, be there at 2, I'm there at 1:50, technically. And now when I tell someone, be there at 2, they'll be like, at 2:15, oh yeah, I'm getting ready now. So that's a little different.
Sounds about right.
So I've got like a really German last name. Could you tell me what that means?
Sure.
Heibershausen?
Sorry?
Heibershausen?
Heibatshausen?
Yes.
It's like a name of a city, probably. Like Hausen is the typical form that you put after a village. Yeah.
So like the education, do you feel like it's better here or
It's
like is it more advanced or y'all?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it really depends on what you're going for. The psychology one, I just like it more here because it's more practical orientated, and in Germany it's more research orientated. So for the PhD, again, you have the practical stuff, like you study 4 to 5 years to get your PhD, but you have 2,000 plus hours of internships, practica, whatever. And in Germany, you just don't go to school with your promotion, so yeah. We have a lot of good business schools, like the European Business School and whatever, and they get jobs at Tesla, for example, like just straight out of college. But we have also a lot of programs that are really shitty. Yeah. Okay.
Why did you pick Tiffin?
So, when I was done with my undergrad program, I just wanted to go in the forensics or the criminalistics because I had a guest speaker from Florida. She was from the FBI, and I was like, I want to be like her. Then I was just looking at the rankings, and the forensic program at Tiffin University is under the top 5. If you don't count the online ones, just the CEDAR ones. So I applied, and I was like, oh, well, why not? And they took me in. I don't know why, I don't know how. I'm still the only international student there, but they kind of took me in. So that's how I've been here. Packed my suitcases, just came.
So we are not that little. People from other countries see our cat. Any more questions? Okay, you happy?